Now let's keep going. Okay, so you've already seen right here my three measures. How many beats do I have in each measure? If you said 4, you're right. We only have 4 in each one. So I wrote my numbers down. And I want to make sure that whenever you guys are writing this at home, you want to make sure that these numbers are big and they're visible so you can see. All right? Now, I'm going to erase a little bit of stuff up here so that way we have some space. In music, we do have beats of sound, which is absolutely correct. But we also have something else in there that I haven't explained yet. What is the opposite of sound? It's another word that starts with S. Does anyone know what we call it? We call it silence. So, in music, we do have silence. Now, this is called a rest. In music, a rest gives you the opportunity to catch your breath, or it gives another opportunity for other instruments to play certain notes, certain things that stand out in the music. Now, for every kind of note that we see, we have a rest that matches. So let's say, for example, we have a note that gets one beat. What note gets one beat again? Oh yeah, the quarter note, right. So the quarter note gets one beat. Now, we'll have a rest that gets one beat as well. So we learned that our quarter note, which gets one beat, now we have a quarter rest. A quarter rest looks like this. Pretty cool, right? Now, it took me forever to learn how to draw that. So if you guys can draw it a lot better than me, fantastic. I had to go through 10 years of school for this. So make sure that you guys see this right here is called a quarter rest. I would practice drawing that at home as many times as you can so that way you know exactly what it looks like and how to draw it. Now, let's go back to our three measures. Let's say this one right here. I'm going to erase that. I'm going to put a quarter rest in there. Now, this right here, if that's a quarter rest, it's actually silence. So do you think that changes the way that we write that number down? Now, yes, it does change the number, but does that beat disappear completely? No, it does not. We want to make sure that you understand that the rest doesn't change anything about the beat. It's still worth one beat. It's just silence. That's music. Rests are music as well. So, since beat 3 is silent, I'm going to change the way that I wrote it so that way you guys know at home this is a rest. So, I'm going to draw a small 3 and I'm going to put a line through it. So that way you know as well as I know that we're going to be silent during that. So what do you think we're going to say during that rest? Exactly. You just did it right now. We don't say silence. We don't say anything because we want to make sure it's quiet. So, is there anyone that thinks they can count this measure? I certainly hope that you guys would. So, for now, we're going to count this together. Here we go. Down, up, ready, go. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Freeze. Did that rest get you a little bit? It almost got me. Let's try that one again. Down, up, ready, go. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Freeze. How did you all do? Now, there's a lot of material that we went over in this. Okay, now if there's ever a time where you're confused about these things, make sure that you go back and watch the video. And then if you find out that you're still a little bit confused, you can ask me or Mr. Strauss to help you understand. But today what we learned, just as a little review, we learned what a quarter note was, which is worth 1 beat. And it looks like this. We also learned that these quarter notes have 2 directions. Our foot goes down and up. We learned that when our foot goes down, we say a number. When our foot goes up, we do what's called a pulse with your air. Does that make sense so far? Great. So the other thing that we learned is if we have too many notes here and we need help to break them apart, we're going to add these little lines here, which are called bar lines. The bar lines help us create measures. Now, the measure is a small part of the music that helps us break it into chunks. These measures are chunks of music, and it allows us to ask very detailed questions easier and more efficient. Now, we also learned that a quarter note is 1 beat of sound. So with a quarter note being sound, we have something that's worth silence. We learned about a quarter rest. A quarter rest is still worth 1 beat, but it's instead 1 beat of sound. It's 1 beat of silence. The quarter rest looks like this. Whenever we write our quarter note, we want to draw a big number. Whenever we draw our beat of rest, we are going to draw a small number with a slash. So, if you guys have any questions on that, you guys have to make sure that you ask. You're more than welcome to email or more than welcome to join Zoom. So, please ask your questions, and I'll see you next time. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.